Well, fellas, it's been made abundantly clear to us that we're not going to be getting a major sponsorship, and we've already reached our maximum survivable dose of trend. So Auntie said to start making some more entertaining content, and if you're easily offended, I suggest you play this one without the audio. Also, if you're easily offended, you probably don't want to sub to my channel. Also, if you don't know what online coaching is, you better get with the times. Welcome to day 346. Body weight is up to 210.6. Well, a little bit of sugar booger never hurt anyone. Unless you're limb biased, of course. Okay, before we get into the story time, I just want to say the step ups you see at the end, you can see that my left hip moves so much slower than my right. Again, this height just makes it so obvious that the left side has a physical block going on, and the weight that I'm using, I've done 3 pounds more for 33 reps, and I'm doing it for triples here. And it's very, on the left side, it's very tough. On the right, I'm just smashing it. All right, so the story of Roxanne and the Tennessee Queen. So I had my boy with me, and he was experiencing a lot of heartache. So he had broken up with the girl he had been with for like 7 or 8 years. Not like he was faithful to her or anything, but that was his main girlfriend. And that was coming to an end, and he was just absolutely besides himself. Well, thinking of the only way to get over such a heartbreaking situation, we wanted to hang out with a couple fine ladies, and this was a surprisingly very, very dry time of the year. Now, we had secured appointments for the next weekend, for a couple days later, for a week later, but this particular night, when he was experiencing such heartbreak, there was just nothing going on. Now, we were scrolling through every little black and red book possible, but there was just nothing happening. Until just then, I remembered there was this girl that I had been speaking with, and I decided to call her, but there was a couple issues. First one being is she had moved to New San Francisco stand. And let me tell you what, that godforsaken space is a couple country miles away. Well, the other issue, not so big of an issue, is that she had to let me know that she was now a lady of the night. The good news was she was with her friend. I wasn't looking to marry these fine ladies, so what was it to me? Who am I to judge? She wanted to reiterate that she was a working girl and asked me, do you know what we do? And I wanted to reassure her that I'm no paying customer. However, we were willing to partake in this perilous journey. So a couple hours down the road, I wanted to check in and make sure, are we still good to go? Yep, we still good to go. A couple more hours. You still coming, Daddy? Yep, we'll be there shortly. You see, the interesting thing was she had some type of dog with her, a pit bull or something. Just, for protection and such. And the hotel that she was staying in, her friend didn't want to stay there because originally they were at the other hotel that didn't allow dogs, so she came to this other one. So yeah, Roxanne was at her own hotel, and we were about 20 minutes out, and she said, okay, I'm going to start calling the Tennessee Queen now. And she was having trouble getting a hold of her. Shortly after we pulled up, and again, if you know anything about New San Francisco stand, it is a very treacherous area, especially back then when we had gone there. So before going to the hotel, we had spun the block a few times, and we were looking for some type of pimp or something. Well, we told Roxanne we were there, and she came to the door wearing nothing but nothing. Well, I peeked my head through the door, and there was nothing but her pit bull in sight. So we reluctantly went in. Let me mind you that the whole purpose of this journey was just to get my friend to get his mind off the situation. So Roxanne was calling the Tennessee Queen and calling the Tennessee Queen. And at this point, it was 2, 3 in the morning, and she was not answering. Well, I thought if anything, it would be an interesting story to tell and something to get my friend's mind off of wanting to off himself for another 5 minutes. Well, needless to say, at about 5:30 in the morning, the Tennessee Queen finally answered the phone. She said she had fallen asleep and she'd be right over. Well, she finally arrives, and I don't think I've ever seen such a beautiful Southern belle in my life. I was mesmerized, but after talking to her for a couple minutes, you could tell the girl definitely had a problem. I was sitting back, and it made me sad to think how a woman like this ended up here. But after a couple minutes of talking, she sat back and looked at us and said, "So which one of you was my cuddle buddy?" To be honest with you, listening to her story and then hearing her say which one of you is going to be my cuddle buddy just broke my heart. So obviously, it goes without saying that he didn't do anything. And when we got back to the car, I asked him, "Wasn't that sad?" He said, "Yeah, you were smacking 2 fine-ass snow bunnies and still couldn't keep little Jimmy up." See you tomorrow, champ.